Let's go! What's happening, all of you beautiful people? We are finally live on this beautiful Wednesday. I'm super excited to be back in the market and streaming live with every single one of you. I actually get withdrawal symptoms if I don't go live with you guys. I tried the Facebook route. You'll see we connected and I disconnected and went straight back to YouTube. As soon as we add Facebook, we start dropping insane amounts of frames. And today you should see the stream should be crispy clear. Audio should be on point. Facebook, you better sort out your lives. Yeah, big problem. But just listen, massive welcome to everybody. I can see Tundi, Double D's in the house, Tagita's in the house, Angie, Leonie, Abel, Grant, Hooper, Heinrich, Angie again, Daniel, Guvon, Gilbert is in the house. Welcome guys to this Wednesday edition session. We're going to be having some fun together. Whether you're joining me on Facebook, whether you're joining me on YouTube, wherever it is you're joining me, I posted the links all over the place. I want to ask you for just 2 seconds, guys. I want you to go ahead and share this link with somebody. I'm going to give you about 60 seconds, and I really want you to go ahead and share this. The last Wednesday we were live together, we took a massive sell position live, and it affected people all over the world. Everybody's messaging, asking, why did we do that? How did we do that? How did that result in this massive sell-off? I can see Mark's in the house. Lydia is in the house. I think I mentioned Daniel. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Beautiful. So the quality should be right up there, guys. And I apologize for last week Wednesday. It's just something about Facebook does not like these kind of settings that we're obviously pushing. It's obviously a little bit too much. I just want to say a massive welcome to all of our brand new Masters members. The new Masters group for August is live, but we also have a brand new Master I haven't yet announced because he's just signed up, he's passed and gone through all the processes. So Vusi Kunene is our brand newest Master in the house. So Vusi, if you're watching me live, I will get you added. We'll do introduction and your obviously you're welcoming to the family. But otherwise, guys, if you're watching me live right now, make sure you've hit that subscribe button, the bell notification, so whether I send you a link or don't send you a link, you'll be notified every single time I am live. I've got a ton of content that I've prepared to launch, and it's just a matter of time. We're obviously building out the content in terms of what is going to be rolled out over the next couple of weeks. And I can see Josh is in the house with us. Welcome, guys. Welcome. All right, without further ado, every single one of you are here because we have a passion for the markets, guys. I laugh. I was helping somebody out last night. I'm just sharing this as a quick story. So someone was messaging me saying, you know, they've been having this issue. They keep buying these robots, they pay for these signals, they pay for all these issues, and every time they ask me the question, what do they do? I said, ignore all of that, go and study. They say, yeah, but I'm busy, I need to make money, and they go and do something silly. A quarter passes, they come back in tears saying they've done this, they've done that, they've spent thousands on these robots, they've spent thousands on this, thousands on that. And then I had to sort of paint an analogy, which I kind of really giggled about because the person only read it this morning and had this, oh wow, revelation, right? And it's something a little similar like this, right? If you own a vehicle, if you own a car, you might not know everything that happens in that car, how the engine works, all right? But you've got a battery problem, right? You go to a store, you ask them for a new battery, you get back home, you find the car doesn't start again. You go back, you ask for a new battery. This time you don't get a battery and you don't get a refund. You've got 2 options. You're either going to move on, get out of the financial markets, move away from Forex, move away from this space, or you need to educate yourself. You need to go online and figure out what type of battery does your car use? How does this work? What do they cost? And so only when I painted in this picture when I said, listen, you got to invest in your understanding, he was like, wow, now I understand. And he might be a new master signing up in the course of next week. I said to him, do the free thing, but he's lost like probably about 50,000-60,000 Rand. And when we told him what masters involves, he thought it was a joke and he said he has to jump in. So the family will be growing very shortly. There's also gonna be a lot of big changes where the future of this business essentially is gonna be run by the masters. And it's gonna be some very exciting stuff. And the announcements will obviously be made in due course and not exactly exactly right now. But you guys aren't here for stories. You're not here to look at my face. You guys are here because you want to figure out what is happening in the markets. And that is exactly what we're about to jump into and what we're about to do. Just checking the quality of the stream, guys. Everything is fine. Still looks good on my side. But if anything happens, just drop in the comments. I should be able to see it. And have you shared? Have you shared? Because now I'm thinking there's a few suspects here amongst us. Gave you guys 60 seconds. I wanted to see that share, and I'm not seeing it. But then again, also YouTube doesn't tell me. But I'm still gonna check. Let me go spy on somebody here. Let me go spy on Siegfried. I'm gonna go find Siegfried online and see if he's shared this thing anywhere. Let me see. Gilbert has shared. Didn't even joke. Gilbert is such a soldier. Where are you, Gilbert? Guys, you would swear that Gilbert runs this company, right? Go to Gilbert's, like anytime we do anything, go to Gilbert and he's like the first one. Gilbert's profile pictures, even us. Yo. Gilbert's got a profile picture from May 2020. Where was I teaching here at this time? I think it was at, if I remember correctly, this was here in Waterfall. It was at Spaces in Waterfall, yeah? Wow. Hey, Gilbert's something else. His whole Facebook page just looks like DVDM markets. Gilbert, you're an absolute... Gilbert, are you a master student? Gilbert? Let me ask this thing really quickly. Where's Gilbert? Gilbert. Guys, can someone find out if Gilbert's a master student? Oh. Gilbert. Guys, I don't think Gilbert's a master student. I can't see if he's live. The problem is I can see viewers. I can see X amount of people watching on YouTube, and I can see the Facebook links doing whatever it's doing. But I can't see the rest. Okay, so Gilbert, my brother, I'm looking at your Facebook page. Your Facebook page looks like my Facebook page, which is just about DVDM markets. Guys, can someone please contact Gilbert? Yo, guys. Gilbert's page looks like my page. Sorry guys, I'm like sort of blown away by this thing. Guys, please contact Gilbert. If he's here, I'm not even sure. Okay, so Gilbert must be a master, so let's get him upgraded to masters. I'll pay for that personally, and I'll pay his monthly fees for the next 6 months. Yo, what a legend. Guys, if you've gone ahead and shared, I appreciate you, I love you. But without further ado, let's jump into the next little bit. So Leonie, I think Leonie's here with us as well. Leonie, if you could just make a note here to put Gilbert into masters, and then the next 6 months monthly fees I'll pay for. So, and he might not even be watching live, but just let him know. Anyway, guys, we're here for the markets. That's what we're all here about. So I think without further ado, let's just jump straight in. Okay, so from a fundamental perspective, guys, we've had obviously a busy week. We've had a ton of things busy happening in the world right now, and there's still pretty much two big things outside of just the actual markets, or just outside of just raw finances, right? Everyone's speaking about cryptocurrency. It has not gone away. It's still a very big topic. Bitcoin has a very likely shot to hit that $100,000 to a coin mark, as we've discussed many, many times before. And then obviously the rest of the world is, you know, speaking about COVID and coronavirus, right? The impacts thereof, vaccine efficiencies, lockdowns, all these different things. So these are some of the driving factors right now that are remaining. Now, we're finding two different schools of thought here, right? Coronavirus across the board has a negative impact, right? We're obviously looking for positive data where we're starting to see an economy get back on its feet in terms of this. And that'll start to be the first indicator that economies are busy getting better. But obviously with these different variants and their efficiencies to the different vaccines, this is causing these different waves, right? Every time we think we're over something, something new comes, a new variant comes in. So the overall overall sentiment towards the coronavirus is negative. And I think, as I've said many times, we're not really, there we see Gilbert's there with us. As we can obviously see, coronavirus is no longer, we're not looking for any negative data. If we see that there's unemployment that's rise, nobody cares. We expected that. We see business confidence, as we saw 11 o'clock today, is at an all-time low. Kind of like, we know that, right? We're the world is not pricing all these negatives anymore. Also, FYI, for those of you who are trading ZAR, if you remember our last week's position on that ZAR rally, the ZAR almost just hit 15 rand to the dollar. We'll double check where it is shortly. So coronavirus, mostly negative, but we're looking for positive news sentiments. On the side of Bitcoin or crypto as a whole, or blockchain as a whole, we're seeing these two different effects, right? We're seeing, on the one side, we're seeing it as decentralized finance being something that's being a massive topic across the board. Kathy Wood's ARK investment platform has been taking all of these hits, and they heavily invested into decentralized finance. So we're seeing massive good things about it, and we're also seeing massive negatives in terms of countries that are worried about that capex outflow and obviously just outright banning it, right? So in terms of sentiment here, I don't think it's important to worry about on the crypto front, good or bad across where that's going to be. I think we do need to still just keep a focus on some of the major cryptocurrencies. So for that particular purpose, I think we're going to end up focusing mostly on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then we may take a meme coin of sort. There's obviously Litecoin, there's a whole, obviously Ether 2.0, there's a bunch of others, but in terms of the majors, it's important. I think we follow two of the majors, and then we pull in an exotic, a meme coin, if you will. So that's going to be something we're going to be started tracking from this next week moving forward in terms of their performance, some of their analysis, some of their price structures, price action, and what can we expect from that. Listen, also FYI guys, if you were in last week's live session with us, we smashed a sell on gold that ran like an absolute monster. I had people inboxing me from all over the world that glimpsed a live sell trade there and just were shocked. Why do we do, how can we do these things live, guys? It's what we do, right? This is not about Instagram, this is not about Facebook. Excuse the pun, even though Facebook kind of kicked us off from a streaming perspective, but this is what we do, right? And I highly encourage anybody that if you're following somebody, try and get real information, right? A signal this, a signal that, try and get real information that you can use. And if you don't understand it, it's not improving your trading experience, then put a big question mark there, right? This should be a professional industry, which is what we're trying to obviously do. Just in terms of people that are with us, Gilbert, my man, okay, he's got his thing sorted out. Lydia Batandwa, beautiful. Batandwa, you in Midrand? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so in terms of that, we have a pretty quiet day ahead in terms of the data that is to be released. We're going to look at the dollar index in a second. The dollar index is positioned very, very strongly at this point in time. It's going to be a really good one. But in terms of the data that we are expecting for this afternoon, we're expecting outside of these CPIs, in terms of the indexes for July, where we do have forecasts, we're expecting the forecasts to generally be negative, right? Now, this is why I expect we could see an even stronger dollar, for the reason being that if these forecasts outperform, right? So if CPI core price, consumer price index for year on year for the month of July, so July, looking at this July to last year July, if that comes in at anything higher, like a 5.5, 5.6, and vice versa, if any of these come in higher than expected, because obviously it's expected to have a decrease, and obviously if we get a higher than expected, let's just have a look at where the dollar's sitting. The dollar's sitting in a really, really good position to now break through and head into its next trajectory. So as we've obviously discussed in the past, this is the market structure that the dollar is currently capped at, right? This is the dollar index, meaning it's most heavily weighted against the euro, then the pound, then the yen, and then pretty much everything else. There's a little bit of a correlation on gold there, which then also has a correlation on oil, and I've spoken about this in past live events, so you're welcome to obviously jump in that and obviously brush up on your knowledge, and all of these live things obviously are archived within YouTube. So obviously guys, make sure you've hit that subscribe button, you've hit that like button. Is anybody here not subscribed? It's free, right? I don't want to say anything bad's going to happen to you if you don't do it, but could happen. But likewise, you could have a really good trading week if you just hit that subscribe button. There's a little bit of that's not true at all. Hit it if you wanna. If you don't wanna, no stress. Okay. So in terms of where the dollar is, we are currently sitting under this market structure and have been sitting there for the longest of times. We hit that 88.2, and as we discussed towards the end of July, we could have seen that dollar weakness, which we did, but we didn't see a massive move. Now, we've stopped out on the 5th. Right, so last week we've stopped out of this market bottom, and this is really giving us a good indication of what this retest could have been or could have looked like. Right, we've come back down, we've retested, and now we're back at that 88.2 fib of this previous move towards that downside. Okay, so this move here, we've come up to that 88.2, which is there, and we've actually started to break through. Now, when we saw on the 20th that we were challenging this 88.2, we can see on a daily time frame, which is what I'm on at the moment, within the space of 2 days, we basically pushed up, rejected, pushed up once again, rejected, created this inverse or this bearish tweezer doji, if you want to call it that, which in essence is just a price action formation saying we've got 2 rejections simultaneously with the evolving body, and we saw that rejection. Done, dusted, happy. Where we are right now is kind of going to show us it's quite an important time, and you'll see we're not just rejecting flat out, but we're sort of pressing into the zone. Now, I will say that there is obviously lost momentum with the dollar here, right? So we have a bullish pin bar that we're seeing there. We've got a little bit of indecision, and we're starting to see what's starting to look like a bit of a bearish pin bar, right? Where markets are slowing down momentum. Again, this is, if we get any positive US data, this could be enough to break through. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make an alert here in the event we are still talking, and then this CPI data pops off between now and then, we get some good dollar data. So remember, a 5.4 or above here, we could see some bullish moves, but we do want to see a decent standard deviation. So 5.5 there, we'd almost need a full % there, so on and so forth. So anything better than expectation and better than previous would be massive for the dollar roundabout now. Now, that's in terms of the index. Moving on, I see some big opportunities available to us for the balance of this week as well as the remainder of next week on NASDAQ, right? US 100. Now, the reason for this being that, if you guys remember, we obviously received some of the tech data that we got, I believe it was on the 26th, in the week or the day of the 26th or 27th, if I'm not mistaken. And we got massive tech data, right? We got earnings from Microsoft, we got earnings from Google, both Alphabet, both divisions of Google. We got Tesla earnings. We got a lot of the big US 100 companies, top tech companies, and these companies also included in the S&P 500. Now, what I've seen historically is when you get these massive earnings, and you guys need to understand why it is that I have this view, right? So when people are long on a particular item, right, the only way that they can sell or put liquidate their position is if there is willing and able buyers to take up their position. So when you get these big earnings report, people think that some of these stocks hold their positions now long term, right? Or the investors already holding their positions continue that move. That's why a lot of people wonder why, when there's good earnings reports, do we see a stock climb? But there can also be these situations where if it's already high, we get the sell-off. This is for this exact reason, that those that the smart money that's been in it for a while start to dump their position or offload their position onto the market. But in order for somebody to be able to, for them to sell that position, needs to be somebody willing to buy. So a good earnings report would give them the liquidity to obviously dump their stock within a market. And this is part of a general market maker strategy and how stocks move. And this made me quite suspicious, the fact that we had this really good earnings data, and then we're starting to see some of these negative pullbacks, or some of these pullbacks on the S&P as well as NASDAQ. NASDAQ is just a little bit more visible, but this is what I'm mostly interested in now at this moment in time, right? On a daily time frame, we had a fairly good run, right? And we could really open this up to include that, but I do believe it was something a little bit more like that. So we had this nice bull channel all the way from the 13th of May. Pretty much the last retest was on the 26th of July. Now we're in this new state. So what does that mean? Thank you, Dane, for drawing these lines, but what does that mean? Right, let's get into it. So I'm going to drop down to a 4-hour time frame, and where you can see we're starting this breakout process, what you'll notice is it's not immediately just a breakout and prices falling, right? We are obviously projecting through one of the last known levels, but what you're going to start to find now is Nasdaq's going to start to give us an entry based on this price action that we're currently seeing. Now we don't have enough data, and remember, Nasdaq is sky high, right? Nasdaq right now, US 100 is trading at $15,000 a share. We've never been this high. If you look at Nasdaq's run, that's what Nasdaq's run looks like on a weekly. It's even more intense. So we don't have past data that's going to allow us to leverage off of just looking at past highs and things like that. We only have what we have now. But what you're going to start to find is we're starting to develop some new price action, right? Some new markets, some new market formation. I would say this is probably going to be most accurately represented like that. Okay, so now in a session where this bull market has potentially come to an end, we're now starting to make lower highs, right? Lower highs, and we've now essentially have definitely started the lower low process, right? Because here we've got higher highs, and here we're starting the lower low process, meaning we are now in a position where we could then look for a sell opportunity at the top of this particular channel. Now you guys will know, if you go to the DVDM Markets Academy from a price action perspective, what this means, right? This means that we are going to correct to the downside, but this is a correction. This is not the impulse, okay? So if you're not already in the impulse, this is merely just a correction. Now, if you guys obviously want to know what that is all about, then I would highly recommend go through to the DVDM Markets on the Facebook page itself. But most importantly, I want you then to jump up into the price action formation lesson, and I'll bring it over here. If you guys don't remember, here it is, right? So here's the full lesson. You can go ahead, watch, do your comments, do your thing. Ultimately, this is where we're at, right? We're in this descending wedge or channel situation, okay? And we know that the likelihood is to break towards the top side. So we have to keep this in mind, right? This is not a long-term sell, but from the perspective of how Nasdaq moves, this still represents thousands upon thousands of pips towards the downside. Now, where could we potentially look to correct to, and where could we eventually end up stopping? Now, just in terms of the entry, I just want to help you guys in terms of this one, in terms of where we could set up a pending order of sort. So what you'll notice is we can still utilize Fibonacci here. So we can look at the last impulse. Now we're starting to impulse downside, and you can see we're coming back up to the 88.2. Right, so there's the 88.2. That would be our trigger to get into a nice sell. And you can tell the difference between the impulse and the correction. Impulse is a nice, straight, decisive move, where the correction is kind of a little bit more sideways. Impulse, nice and decisive. Correction, more sideways. We can utilize the exact same technique in terms of getting our entry point into this next sell situation. I've chosen an expansion here, not a retracement. There we go. Okay, so that's beautiful, right? So what we'll end up seeing on Nasdaq, it could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be Thursday, Friday, whatever, but we can see there's 88.2. So how would we trade this, right? Very, very simply, we would have a sell limit, specifically pending order, which is great. Again, you go back to my studies, that is all there, 8 hours. I teach you what this is all about. And we would obviously look to set up a sell limit with a stop loss above the previous resistance, right? This is our new resistance, right? It's not current resistance to, but ultimately you want to be safe. You really want to be safe on Nasdaq and know that you're staying this trade for the long run. You want to then hit this third resistance level or third area of resistance. So we want to have a stop loss here of 15,185 in terms of a stop loss, 15,185. Now it's important, what I generally suggest, if you're still struggling from a price action perspective, go set up a pending order at 0. 0.0. Might set up what I'm talking about and measure, does my stop loss equal less 3% of my account? So if you've got a $1 account, you don't want your stop loss to see $3 on this trade because your risk management is blown up. It won't make it long term if you obviously follow a bad risk management setup. So that's just a side note there. So let's have a look here. Now our TP can definitely be the bottom of this range, so we can be looking at, I like round numbers, so we're going to target the $15,000 flat mark. Okay, so there we've got it up here. I can help you with the math. So if you are looking at a $100 account, it means that your stop loss at 0.01 would equal $30. So 30% of your account. So you obviously cannot take this trade on a $100 account. You would need closer to $1,000 account, and $1,000 account, right, at 0.01 would literally nail on the head represent 3.3% of your total account size. Okay, now in terms of risk reward here, we are risking at this particular moment in time at 0.01. We are risking let's see here, about 600 South African Rand at 0.01 with a TP of let's just see here, about 2,200. So about a 1 to 3.5, 1 to 4 risk reward ratio, which is great. Anything above 1 to 3, you are good to go. So the sound shouldn't be clipping, guys. Just let me know if it is. On my side, it seems to be good. It could just be a feed issue. All my frames, everything should be on point. Let's just look here. Just 2 seconds. Okay, there we go. It should be much better now, but please, if it does, no, it should be fine. Thing here. I've got this funny process that just keeps popping up here. Let's just see here. Yeah, I don't know if she is going to go away completely. I do see I've got this antivirus. You can't live with it, you can't live without it, but once it starts, it's chosen now to do a complete computer scan. So yeah, I apologize. Let's see, hopefully it goes away, but you guys let me know. So anyway, on NASDAQ, I think that's a really good place. We could potentially look at a sell. Again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. You're welcome to rewatch this at a later stage should you want to get in on that information. Let's just check out what US data we did get here. So again, we got positive data as I expected. So 5.4, which is good, on point. 273 in terms of CPI index. A little bit under in terms of core CPI. That's still good, that's fine. Yeah, so mostly hitting expectation or positive. So this could be enough for what I was just saying about the dollar, in terms of giving it the little bit that it's going to need in order to break through this particular ceiling. Obviously, US markets have just opened 30 so minutes ago. So obviously now we need to see what that next move is going to be towards that top side. So this is going to be pretty important, and we could potentially see that move there. Now, this is definitely going to have an effect on gold from a perspective of what it is we're busy watching. So again, NASDAQ, continue to watch. It may even trigger this afternoon. You guys might want to you guys might want to obviously just watch out for this NASDAQ position. I'm going to talk about VIX 75 in a second, but I do want to talk about a potential gold trade here. So just going back to what happened last week. So this is where we were last week, Wednesday. You can see my sell positions are demonstrated here, where, you know, markets pushed up. We utilized dollar domination for that particular sell. I just want to show you guys where the reversal ended up happening here. 230, 330. So if you go back to the actual recording last week when we did that, I think this is the week we had pretty bad issues with regards to drop frames, if I'm not mistaken, but essentially we looked at that 330 mark, our time for that reversal to take place. 230 is when it starts to happen, but 330 is the worst case scenario of that, and we're still seeing that happen quite substantially now when it comes to the dollar. So we may be getting an exact similar thing happening in the course of today. So if we look at this move here towards the downside, we're just going to look at this total impulse here, how we can potentially trade off the dollar domination setup. So you can see we're hitting that 50 fib level. I'm just going to zoom in for those that are struggling. So we're smacking that 50 fib level. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit distorted because we've got this massive move towards the downside, but we're hitting that 50 fib level. It's very, very likely we could push up to the 61.8 and then see a reversal towards the downside. If we hang around at this 50 fib, right, until 330, then this is the trigger that I would pull. But again, failing that, the 61.8 is definitely maybe where we want to be from that particular perspective, right? We're seeing 230, we're not seeing a rejection towards the downside. If you want to obviously know what is the dollar domination strategy in full, there's obviously quite a bit of detail that is linked to that and how we utilize that to speculate and take positions on gold through price action, through time zones, through trading sessions, through these different things. That's all Master Academy related. So I do get a lot of questions directly after these streams. What is dollar domination? It's specifically a trading side or strategy that's included in Masters. So I'm hoping that just makes a little bit of sense, but we do trade that with you guys. Obviously, we don't want to leave you guys out in the cold on that one. So primarily on this trade, we can look at that 50 fib level in terms of that potential place we want to reject. I just want to see something else really quickly. I don't think we definitely be outside of this fib fan. I just want to have a look at how far out we are. Yeah, so it seems we are substantially further outside of this fan, depending on where we want to take this or where we want to take the sample from. Yeah, so I would pretty much, the safest way to get on this is going to definitely be waiting on that rejection, either at the 50 or the 61.8 in terms of a sell. Now you can take this as an immediate order if you wish at those levels, or you can wait for the rejection to happen. Now remember, should we start rejecting, we start to get that pullback, there's another opportunity for those of you who obviously want to play it a little bit safer from a price action perspective. Is you can obviously see we have a market structure that is, you know, this rising sort of structure that if we take the absolute lows will be something like that. It's not a triangle, and it's more a wedge or channel depending which way you want to take it, and it's going to look like that. So should we see that pullback and you're not, you know, willing to take it at its peak, then you can wait for that pullback. That will represent a bearish pin bar, and that'll then prompt or trigger some sort of continuation towards the downside on gold. This would then also correlate with the strengthening dollar, right? Because as gold gets the dollar gets stronger, that would entail the purchase price of gold drops, right? Because it's XAU USD. So for a gram or an ounce of gold, how much does that cost in the dollar? The stronger the dollar gets, the less it costs. XAU USD falls. So that's going to be pretty important. Now I've got my eyes on this. I'm going to set an alert here under the 61.8 in terms of catching that. So guys, in terms of audio, is everybody still hearing everything perfectly? Because I can see Streamlabs is doing its thing where it's like the audio levels are not there anymore. Just let me know in the comments if you guys are still hearing and seeing everything fine. Can't tell if it's a Streamlabs error or what's going on, or if it's a streaming error. Because I haven't seen the comments come in there in a little bit. Anyway, I'll just continue as if nothing's wrong. Okay, the next trade I do want to look at, I think there's quite a bit of opportunity available for VIX. So again, last week, you guys remember, we were kind of sitting at this level, specifically Masters. We were sitting at this level, and I said to you, I had a little bit of a vision that I saw that VIX would press down, it would fake down before it comes back up, right? Which is where we're currently sitting in this moment in time. We're getting this fake move down, and then we're sort of coming back up. Now, this is where I potentially want to look at a continuation of the short. Now, we can deal with this in multiple ways. So in the Masters session, we had a separate Masters gathering on, I think it was Monday if I'm not mistaken, and I said to you that potentially I would be a little bit worried about VIX, just purely because of the fact that we have this pennant formation, right, where we're seeing sort of price trying to rise, and a pennant generally on the back of a flagpole, or this nice bear impulse with a pennant situation, is generally a continuation, and we're generally quite worried about that moving and continuing towards the downside, which it did do, right? But ultimately we are now in a situation where we are in this retest, and I want to have a look if there's not opportunity for us to, you know, obviously stay with the trend, right? I love being right, and when I'm not right about a particular trade, I generally am open to, you know, that's some of you, you know, as traders, you'll find that can be one of the biggest downsides, is when you really want to be right about something and it doesn't happen that particular way. So there's a few ways I think we have an opportunity here that may be even ripe this afternoon or in the next few minutes, to be honest with you, is if we have a look here, we have this obvious correction and we have this next leg. Now, I think we are going to make a move for the 78.6, but more likely, I think we're going to make a move for the 88.2. So I believe that VIX is going to come up to this 88.2, and that allows us a nice position whereby we've got a couple levels helping us here, right? We've got this diagonal coming down, this diagonal resistance. We've got this diagonal resistance that's coming at was once support, or is support for the symmetrical or pennant formation, and then we've got the resistance being the 88.2 fib. So I'm going to personally be looking for short opportunities at that 8.2. Now, if we don't reach there this evening, right, or reach there this afternoon in the next hour or two, then what we need to do is wait out for this evening, right? VIX tends to have reversals in the evenings. Whatever the day was, we tend to see those little reversals. If you're a master student, I've obviously laid out exactly when that happens to the minute. If you're just general, if you hear it, that's for free, you've obviously got to put in the work. And guys, listen, are you subscribed? Because I'm not seeing anybody hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed, if you're not seeing that box hit that you are a subscriber, go ahead and make sure that you've smashed that subscribe button. I'll give you 2 seconds. I don't want you guys to have like 10 years of bad luck or anything like that. So I'll give you guys 10 seconds. Make sure you are subscribed. Afterwards, I see a lot of the times in the live stream, we have a lot of people that watch that are not subscribed. It's the only reason why I push this. So the next time we go live, they just get the notification. Hey, there's live, we're doing something. So make sure. I don't want to have to check if there's any suspects. Are you a suspect? No, you. No, not you. You. Are you a suspect? I don't know. I think you're a suspect. The only way I'll know for sure is if you are subscribed. If you're not subscribed, you're definitely a suspect. You're a monitoring spirit. So yeah, anyway, let's get into it. So 88.2 fib fan right up there, or fib retracement. Let's just have a look if this works out. This will be pretty cool. If we get a little bit of data, a little more data there. Beautiful. Guys, have a look at how beautiful this fib fan works out there for us. Oh man, this is going to be the trade of the week without a doubt. Okay, so as you can see here, people think that markets are random. Tell me that's random. Tell me that's random. You tell me that's random, and I'll slap you. I'll find out where you live. I'll search your IP address. I'll fly there and I'll slap you if you say this is random. right? So this is going to be a beautiful trade, guys. So you can see that we've got some market structure pressing up towards the top side. We can map that out. I'll drop down to a smaller time frame, but have a look at how beautifully our 88.2 fib fan, which is this guy over here, and our 88.2 levels. So because of this market structure, I'm going to go for two trades. I'm going to go for a 78.6 sell limit, right, with my stop loss above the 100% mark, okay, because then I know I'm definitely outside of that trade. And that's going to be 323 flat, right? So 323,000 flat. I'll put in my TPs a little bit later. Right now, I'm just going to put it in as 312 flat. Okay, that'll be the first one. So my stop loss needs to be above the 100% high, right? So you're looking at plus minus about 400 Rand at a 0.01. That's about $32. So on a $100 account, you cannot afford this trade. It's gonna blow, it's gonna slap your account around as if it owes it money. And you probably would if you did take this trade on a $100 account. But the reward here is sitting at about 1,200 Rand, so probably about $90. So you're risking about 30 to make 90. So 1, 2, 3, nice risk reward. So I'm going to take two trades. I'm going to look for a 78.6 entry with my stop loss above the 100% mark, and then I'm going to look for an 88.2 again with a stop loss above the 100% mark. So if I press slightly higher, then I'm going to be in a position to then enter on both of those. So 323 flat. 323 flat. TP will keep the same. We may take profit halfway through the circle, but remember, if we break towards the downside and our trade is correct, we are going to make a lower low. So for this purpose, we're just going to leave our TP at the market bottom, but we do want to adjust once we make a substantial move towards the downside. We do want to adjust a little bit further to the deep side. So I'm just going to move this down to 312 again, flat. So that's 312,000, right? If you've got big 75, Laugh That Hard, guys, Laugh That Hard is asking, do I offer lessons? My whole syllabus is on YouTube right now, right? I think the link is actually in the video description, if I'm not mistaken. So my whole quantum growth program, the free part is there, and then I have masters, which will only be offering later on, maybe towards the end of the month, type of thing. Anyway, so we are then, those two trades are set up there. From a price action formation, we can drop down to 5 minutes on VIX just because of how it moves. On any other currency, I would frown, against dropping against that low, just for the reason being that you don't want to be in a position where you're trying to map and monitor such a tight market structure. So it is a dark layout here, and I don't know if everybody is able to see, or if anybody's struggling with viewing what's busy going on here, which may be the case. Okay, so there's a bit of a delay, guys. I know you might be asking questions, I might be answering delayed. So that's the market structure there. Now, people ask me, why am I cutting off that part there? You just simply need to zoom in, or even drop down to a minute if you wish, and you'll see why I cut that off, right? Markets used it as support, failed, and then got above, and then came back, used it to retest, and then continued towards top side. So that was just a false move, okay? So in essence, depending how you want to look at this, there's two trades available to you as of today. We are sitting above the 61.8. There's the 61.8. We're currently trending just above that. Remember, VIX is a big spread, right? So there's two trades available to you. The first trade available to you is a scalp top side, right? So it's a scalp to buy out once we break that level to the 78.6 to the 88.2. Once that 88.2 is triggered, or 78.6 is triggered, and then we break this rising channel, this is where we're going to start to run a long-term sell position, right? Meaning we could run a couple thousand pips. So our downside move is literally going to be per trade in the region of about 1,000 pips. So for both trades, this setup here will yield about 2,000 pips. So take it as you may. Use it, don't use it, make some money, don't make money, be poor, be rich. Your decision. I've given you the tools. That's what it's all about. Okay guys, if someone can help laugh that hard with the YouTube series, it's in the title. I'm pretty sure it's in the description. Let me just double check. I want to make sure I'm not trolling this person, that they're busy looking for something that doesn't exist. So here's the show that you guys are watching right now. That's what it's all about. It's right there in the link. You can literally hit that link. It'll take you through to the whole series. This is the whole series. Okay. At the end, it'll take you to the next video. So there's part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, whatever. So you're welcome, and it is a pleasure. Let's just have a look at gold. Ooh, okay. So the rejection is already happening off that 50 level. So if you've missed it, again, not the end of the world. As I've said, you can wait for price to pull back down into this wedge, into this sort of you can't really call it a rising triangle, but it is more of a wedge. But a rejection here would be really good for the dollar. Probably fuel it with enough positive data to obviously break that continuation, and then we have a bigger trade on our hands towards the downside. VIX 75 I've talked about, Nasdaq I've talked about, dollar index again, wait for this breakout here. I've got an alert here. This will set up a whole bunch of other trades for us as we obviously move. If you're in the Tesla trade, you should be smiling. From a stock point of view, Tesla is absolutely smashing it, and you should be smashing it too. And that's all I really have on my mind for today. These are trades I believe are going to pop off. Gold, we should be able to take a position today. VIX, same story. Nasdaq, probably, definitely, and you should already be in obviously that Tesla trade that I obviously spoke out last week. Outside of that, guys, these are the trades that I'm probably most excited about for today, and obviously trades that I think are going to materialize over the space of the week. So these are things that you can obviously take full advantage of over the next trading day. Now remember, if you don't have the link, drop into the group, follow the Learning Academy. You'll be popped into the group, and then we will supply things into the group. Now we are going to get a bit better in terms of the next couple of weeks. I'm increasing the team that's going to be supporting you guys, specifically in the free environment where it costs you absolutely nothing. We are going to be having a next step that, should you want a little bit more hands-on attention, you want individual trade opportunities explained to you as and when we take that, we are going to have a paid version for that as well moving forward. In terms of the future, in terms of closer towards the end of the month, that will become available to you. But at the moment we have free and we have masters, and masters I select a very few number of people to obviously upgrade and be within the masters program. And again, guys, if you receive links to other groups within my group, please be cautious. Nobody's gonna send you a link, and if you want to protect yourself, just as a tip, if you're in Telegram, and people get this a lot, change your privacy settings within Telegram so that people can't just add you to other groups, right? So if you go into your Telegram settings, you can go into your settings, into your privacy and security, and you can then obviously choose who can add me to a group. So just as a side note, again, go to Telegram, like literally go to your Telegram. You can then go privacy and settings, and then under groups where it says privacy, you can then select who can add me to a group chat. And if you select my contacts, perfect. If it says everybody, this is where you're going to be added by robots. You can be added to things for indicators and signals and Bitcoin and investments and all this other rubbish that ultimately, you know, if these things worked, guys, people would not be poor, right? Nobody in Africa would be starving if there was just an algorithm that just worked. Plug and play, let's go. It doesn't exist. I've built many myself, work in very specific formulas. Ultimately, an understanding of the markets is most necessary, and you need to adapt and change these things. Ultimately, these things will work for a season, for a month or two, and then they're broken and you got to buy a new one, or whatever the case may be. So ultimately, invest in your knowledge. That's all I am saying. Outside of that, guys, that was what I was pretty much I can't read all the messages. Somebody's saying, how do I get access to the link? Giving him Dane's info to get access to the link. Yeah, guys, to be honest with you, my number is changing towards the end of this week, right? So my number will no longer be public. There will be people to deal with all these things. So while you can, if you want to make moves and do what you got to do it now. At the end of the week, it's no longer going to be the same. Okay, listen, guys. Yeah. I love you guys. I'm glad to have been live with you guys over this past hour. As always, like, share, comment, do your thing, and I'll be sure always to get back to you guys at the end of that. And share the series, share the syllabus. There's so many people that desperately need this information. I just don't know it's out there. You know, this is why we created it, to change and touch lives. Outside of that, guys, I'm going to be monitoring VIX. As and when I jump into the trade, I'll notify you as masters. I shall be looking at NASDAQ. When I jump in that, I'll notify you guys. Gold, I will continue to keep an eye on. I do think we have, you know, a little bit of opportunity to make a push for that 61.8. So I'll definitely let you guys know about that one too. And then any other opportunities, remember, masters, we are live tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and we're going to jump into a little bit more detail, a little bit more in-depth technical things, and we're going to have a little bit of fun, guys. In terms of the group link, please don't give out the group link, right? People have got to go follow the syllabus online, so rather give them the syllabus. You'll see at the bottom of this video in the description is the link to the whole Quantum Growth Masters series. You've got to go through that. You've got to complete the series, and at the end I explain how you get into the group, and I provide you with the broker details, provide you with trading journals, I provide you with all those things and the different links on the video. So go ahead and watch the series. It's for your benefit. You can share it, you can give it to absolutely anybody. It's a gift directly from me to you guys. Okay, beautiful, guys. Listen, outside of that, I love you. Be safe, trade safe. As always, risk management is everything. And yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. Here's some amazing music. Be good, trade safe. I'll see you guys on the other side. Shalom.